Hi folks, this is a continuation from the video I did earlier. Well, the one about Alan McWilliam, I think his name was, yeah. What about what he delivered? It's not just him. If you listen to my messages, the last year has been the same. It's been the same. It's been lukewarm, sort of. I mean, basically, some of what's been said has been sort of accurate, as in that's sort of what God is talking about right now, yeah. But you've watered it down massively. You've gone a long way around, even telling a tiny piece of it. In that 35 minutes, you could have given a massive overview of what's going to happen. If you know what's going to happen, that is. But more importantly, in that particular filling station, I can't talk about other filling stations because I won't. I've never been at other ones. But we've got that prophecy that in a year's time, God's going to sort out a church. And those people in the way, God's going to get out of the way if they don't themselves get out of the way. We had that prophecy. Now, with that being the case, I have to say it is completely and utterly shameful for that place to be bringing in ministers who have been the problem. These very people that they brought in over the past year, they've been exactly the people that have held the church back. These lukewarm messages, this is what the church has been given for decades and decades and decades. It's been what's been taught. Don't challenge people. Don't say anything that could be counted as offensive. You've got to be careful. Make sure it's disarming. Make sure it's friendly. Make sure it's even mildly playful. And you'll see this time and time and time and time again. The ministers, the people bringing the ministry, bringing the message, will be jokey. Smiley. What are you smiling about? In the message you brought on Saturday, you mentioned that there were people who were listening who basically are going to go to hell. Now, I've gone into this before, but I'm going to go into it in a slight detail here. If he's right, if there are people listening who are not going to go with God when God moves, then yes, those people will go to hell. And their hell will be far worse than anyone else's. Far worse. Not than anyone else's. Any person who has been part of a Christian organization like this or part of a church and goes away when God moves, doesn't go with God, gets left behind, and ends up in hell because they stopped repenting, they stopped going to church, they stopped living according to God's will, God's ways. So when you do that, you stop repenting. You stop being convicted of your sins. You stop repenting. You start blaming God because that's what the devil wants. The devil's got you. You see, the devil had you all along. You just didn't realize it. But you were in a position where you were hearing at least a tiny bit of truth. At least a tiny bit of truth. So, for your eternity, the demons are going to remind you how close you were. How you were just one decision away from spending eternity in heaven. Now, Mr. McWilliam, I think that's his name. I will just confirm. Yes, Alan McWilliam. He is someone who he would tell you. He would come on and he would defend himself saying, no, I really care about these people. Really? You're speaking about these people, you've got a smile on your face, you're just brushing across it. You're saying that they will choose not to go with God, well, they've basically chosen that already. But then you say, but they don't have to choose it, then you just move on. Skip over. Don't worry, I've mentioned you don't have to choose it, so therefore, there you go, I've ticked that off. Every single part of that 35 minutes should have been get those people into the understanding of where they're headed. Get them into a position where they're going to change their mind because they're headed towards something which is bad, to say the least. Really bad. That has to be the key focus. If you are even preparing this message and you've got that bit in your preparation, you're going to say that should have got your attention. If you love these people, that should have got your attention. If you love these people. That should have been the focus, complete focus. And then if someone like Craig would have said, well, that wasn't, really what we wanted. That was a bit too challenging. Somebody might have got offended by that. You would have said, look, I'm sorry, but really what matters is, am I going to maybe save someone from an eternity in hell? If so, then I would do that again and again and again and again and again. I was saying to Stuart the other day, on Monday, I said, the church, I said, Jesus, I said, they haven't got a clue what's coming. I said, they've got used to people like Alan McWilliam. Yeah, little smiley face joking. I said, they haven't met me yet. I'm not going to be like that. When they deal with me, there's going to be a degree of anger. There's going to be a degree of righteous anger. Certainly when talking about the way the church has been and the way that the people have led the church down this path. And the fact that people during those years have died and probably gone to hell as a result. That you've had years, decades and decades and decades, where the church has been pretty much on a life support machine. Not really functioning, not really been able to function. In the end, if you can see the picture, if you can see the fact that, God said to Gideon, and the reason why he obviously used Gideon is because he's talking about the fact that there's all these people that can be left behind. All these people that aren't going to join. You say it, Mr. McWilliam, you say that, but without understanding. Clearly. Either without understanding or without love. Because if you said it with understanding, you would say it with the understanding of knowing exactly where these people are headed towards. If you'd have said it with that, I'm sure you would have broken down. If you had love in you for these people, you would have broken down. Because that's where the priority should have been for you. Those people. Oh yeah, most of his message was about that, wasn't it? Yeah. Most of the message was about, Gideon had all those people with him, and God got rid of most of them. Yeah. I've been saying for a long time, the church, I can see what it's going to be. There's going to be the spirit-filled, born-again Christians. The churchgoers are going to disappear. Yeah, they're going to be removed. But it doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that they can't come back. And the whole point is every single thing you do is to try and get these people back and more. But when talking about these people, it should be difficult. It should be it should be something you can smile through. That's just me. I don't understand how does that not? Yeah. I mean, it's very much the case that in most of those messages over the past year, you can clearly see that there was a possibility of a message, a really strong, powerful message, but it was weakened down. It was fluffed up. It was made sure that the points that could be counted as challenging were covered over pretty much. You could just about see them, but only just. I feel for these people, I really do. Yeah, because Animate William, he's been taught to do things that way. Yeah. The people that do this, they've been taught to do things this way. It's been accepted. And that's the problem. It's been accepted. Yeah, the people that watch online, yeah, they accept that as okay. That's the level. Yeah, what he said. People were very impressed with it. They thought it was wonderful. It was lukewarm, but to them it was wonderful because their level is set really below that. And so he surpassed their level, didn't he? You've got to demand more. There is so much more that we could be having right now. There's so much more that we could be given right now. We should be demanding more, so much more. The level has to be smashed. Basically, at the moment, the level is pretty much floor height. It's not a challenge for anyone. Yeah, you just prepare a nice message. Basically, I've said it before. These ministers, they're basically like, people like TED talkers, that sort of stuff. Yeah, like years ago, you had these things where you had seminars where people would be taught how to present. That's what these people have been through. They've called it Bible college, but it's exactly the same. That's why you look at them. The similarities between the ministries are so incredible. The way they present it. It's what I've been seeing for the past, generally speaking, since I've been a Christian, really. A few people have gone above that level, but not many. Yeah, but Godwin was one. But that was years ago. That was at least 20 years ago, that was. Kenneth Copeland was one about 20 years ago. Not anymore. We've got to set the level higher. So much higher. Exactly what? I don't know. As I say, I mean, it should be the case that every single occasion of a thing like that, whoever is basically called to come forward, it should be God speaking through them. It should be God giving them a message to bring. Now, even if that message only lasts for 10 minutes, have more praise and worship. Have a time of prayer. Do something like that. Just have some time of quiet. Just waiting on God. Have a bit of silence. Nothing wrong with a bit of silence. That's cool. No issue there at all. Just bring whatever God has. For him, if he's just going to bring whatever God has, he would have just said that, right, God has spoken to me about the fact that he's going to prune the church, and a lot of people that have been in the church basically clogging it up are going to be leaving. They won't be coming along for the journey. We need to pray for these people. We need to help these people to understand what they're walking away from and what they're walking to. That's a reality there. But, in the end, it's up to people, isn't it, really? Aye. So I've just gone quiet here. I've got a Facebook memory here from 8 years ago. Rob Bianca with Joshua, and I can't remember what the other child was called. Or is called, should I say? But the other child was just a tiny baby at that point in time. February the 13th, 2013. So that was just before I moved up here. So I moved up here. When did I move up here? In the summer, wasn't it? Yeah, it was only a few months later. Yeah. So I think I would have got Mollie in May of 2014. Well, I'm Mollie Collie. Got you in May 2014, didn't I, Bubba? Eh? Yeah. You were born in March 2014, weren't you? A year after that photo was taken, Mollie Collie was born, wasn't you, Mollie Collie? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes, Mollie Collie. Yes. Yes. Look, folks, the reality is, from the people who are leading you, from the people who are guiding you, from the people who are bringing the messages, you've got to demand more. You have to. If you don't, you're going to be left. You're going to be part of those people that are going to be left. When God moves, you've set your level so low that when God moves, you're going to see it as some demonic thing. As I said the other day, and as I said many times before now, recently, certainly, that God's kingdom seems bizarre to those of this kingdom, and vice versa. Now, if you've set your level so low, it's basically it's around about the level of a speaker, of a worldly speaker, basically. The level of the sort of message they bring. It's encouraging, it's slightly challenging. It's nice. Yeah. Then you're not of God's kingdom. And whatever God brings of his kingdom could very likely seem quite bizarre to you. And with that being the case, you decide to stay where you are. You decide you don't want any of that. You decide that biblically, the Bible talks about these dodgy churches of the latter days. Well, there you go. This is what this is. When it isn't, that's God. Just that you've set your level so low. Can't do it, folks. You've got to reach so much higher. You really do. But that's up to you. Definitely don't. Oh, there. In the end, folks, it's up to you. You have to walk your walk, don't you? So the people running the filling station in Rossi and other places, they've got to live their walk. And if they want that to be their level, then that's their level. In the end, either they will be replaced as the people running it, or the organisation will collapse. And that's fine. Either they will be replaced, or the organisation itself will be replaced. There's loads of different organisations here. Christian organisations that are going to go bang. They'll just be forgotten in the past because they're irrelevant. Hopefully, all the people listening on Saturday night to Mr. McWilliam will be convicted of their sins and helped by God to be part of where they need to be. Anyway, you take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.